money. Okay. Make that 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 money. Get a hole. 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 Get a hole.
Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It is me, Mike Lepre, King Mike L. This is Legit Paranormal, brought to you by legitpodcast.com. It is Sunday night. We made it to yet another Sunday night. November 20th, 2022. That's 11202022. For the math geeks, earlier this morning, all I could come up with was there was 3 2s. No. It was at 1-1 and then 2020 and then 2-2. That's all I could come up with. So that's all I got for you. Joining me as always. Hopefully he's ready. Buddy Money. There. What's up, buddy? Oh my God, look at that.
Am I ever ready, Mike? Oh, holy God. With great honor, Mike. I'm going to just start with my beer of the week because
Hold on.
we have a lot of pride. We have a lot of
Yeah, I know.
awesomeness that goes into this week's beer.
You're too good.
So what I'm pouring it, as you can see, Legit Paranormal Brew. It's a lovely concoction put together by our friends at Six Pack Brewing, Mark Pappy, and his lovely daughter had designed these labels and put the beer together for us. This one is 8.5% alcohol by volume. I'll be drinking this majority of the show, as will Joey Paranormal. I'll also be drinking. I'll switch up to the other beer, Mike.
Oh, my favorite.
I love it.
Wait a
Bob
minute.
Bangul. It's
This
such
is
a
what-
great name for a beer, right?
This
It's
is the
an
best.
Italian Pilsner on a show that we do, the Italian drinking game. So
Listen,
just a refresher. Always keep your mouth shut. You never say anything to anyone. Just as a refresher, every time Mike makes a reference to Italy, the Italian people, the Italian superstitions, North Providence, Italian food, even the Catholic Church, anything of that, we take a sip.
dude, I have a Barfangul beer but you know where I'm at, right?
Look at
That's
her on the side there.
the Nana with the wooden spoon. That's what I put on there. It's perfect, exactly what I wanted. But buddy, where am I sitting right now?
You're sitting at Bafangul, Mike.
I'm in Barfangul. That's the name of my bar that I've had in my house.
Legit
My whole life.
Paranormal Brew. I mean, I'm Legit Paranormal. So let me raise my brew to you and say cheers, sir. Welcome to the show.
And then Barfangul.
Bafangul.
Sarah, what do they taste like? Delicious.
Delicious beers. This is a double IPA. It's made with,
Buddy, are you gonna make out with it? Let me just do this.
I'm not gonna make. I'm sorry.
Joining us back from months and months and years.
Speaking of making out,
He's now in his mid-40s. Joey Paranormal. What's up, Joe?
It's good to be back. Feels right. I'm not really sure if I 100% remember how to do this. I think I'm talking into the right device in front of me, but it's good to see you, gentlemen. It's good to be here. Good to be good to take my place at the bottom of the pyramid.
Hey, Joe, congratulations on the marriage.
Congratulations.
Thank
Joe.
you.
Many, many years with you and Kara.
Buddy can attest it was a great night, and I was very, very inebriated by the end of the night.
Great weekend.
Just before Buddy introduces our guest, Joe.
Great people.
If you go back and listen to our wrestling podcast from about 6-7 months ago, we sound like prophets. there's a point where we actually put together the groups that. Never mind. I'm just letting you know this. But
yeah,
are you ready?
we'll discuss later. But that for anyone watching wrestling podcast, will be making a triumphant return very soon.
That was absolutely nuts. I don't know what's going on around my house. But all right, buddy, do the introductions.
All right, so this week we're blessed because I had I guess that was scheduled and he bailed on me last minute. This week's guest, we really had pulled the Ace of Spades with this one. See, after surviving a 14-year hell and living in a haunted house, the survivor transcended the red carpets of Hollywood and worked with such greats like Lemmy and Motorhead, amongst various others, I'm sure. Welcome to the show, Janita McNeal.
Hey.
So,
I didn't have a beer, so I got the black market version.
There you go. That's cool. Available in major cities near you.
Legit para bourbon.
There you go.
So it's Jai. Just so I'm right on this.
This is rum.
Right?
Oh, okay.
It'd be bourbon though.
I'm saying
yes,
it's correct.
Jai.
All right, Jai. So,
yeah,
couple of things, Jai.
Yes.
All right. I want to get into the 14 years because that's what deeply fascinates me. However, I got to ask really quick because of my connection.
Mhm.
So my favorite question is, who's greater, Lemmy or God? And then the answer, and then the guy answered, God, and they're like, wrong. Like Lemmy, wrong. Lemmy is God.
I was just gonna say that. That's what they always said. He's God.
I had to say that to you because I had friends in a band called Kilgore that were on the second stage in Rhode Island at Great Woods. And I got to meet Lemmy, and
cool.
The helmet he had on. His helmet he had on was terrifying though. It was really metal with a real spike. It was like it was a real deal. He had a real helmet on. I was like, wow, that's a real helmet. Like, you know what I mean? That's you could ram somebody, but he must have been wild.
He owns several of them. You know what? Believe it or not, when I knew him, he was older. So, I mean, he wasn't that crazy and wild at that point. He just chilled. When he was at home, he was just all about relaxing and chilling and watching the History Channel.
Yeah, that is getting old. I'm halfway there on that. You know what I mean? I do that half the time,
right?
Half the time I don't. But no, what I do know is that my friend Bill Sutherland played, buddy, you know,
I know Bill very well.
And said that Lemmy had all kinds of outfits. Like he had like real authentic stuff, like historically type outfits. I'm like, wow, like that's an impressive collection.
This is one of his shirts that was given to me. So I'm actually wearing one of his shirts right now.
Dope as hell. You might, you know, because Lemmy was always my favorite, and I'll tell you why, Joey. Let me tell you why. Let me school you there, Joey, on Motorhead. Lemmy had a voice that was so not supposed to be singing, but it was perfect. It sounded great.
Right.
Like it had a sound to it. Like you would think, that's not gonna. He's just not gonna be able to sing, and then he's just singing, and it's got that own sound to it, and you're like, God damn. Like, goddamn that you can sing like that. It sounds like he's ripping his throat out sometimes when he sings.
I know.
Like the godfather of metal, dude. Just like absolutely. And
rest in peace.
Truly rest in peace. And the last thing is to put the microphone where he would put the microphone. Oh. That's like Steven Tyler putting like bandanas on his thing. That's like Prince having a microphone stand that's built like out of like a weird like symbol. You know what I mean? Like, that's Lemmy's thing that he was up. Okay. So you ended up there. Let me ask you about how you started off. Now, you were born in a house that was haunted?
Yes. Born and raised for 14 years.
So, how many people lived in the house?
Total of 8.
Okay. Both parents?
Kids.
Kids?
Most were kids, both parents, yes.
Both parents. All right.
Yeah.
Now, how many of them would say they had paranormal type experiences in the house?
Everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe any of them haven't. At Thanksgiving dinner, that's like our talk. We talk about, the paranormal stuff that happened, and that's always our go-to, something to
So-
talk about that everybody experienced.
So then it's not like just you. It happened to the whole, and that's a lot of people. It happened to the whole family.
It did, but I felt like I was personally being attacked a lot because a lot of things happened. There were two rooms that had the most activity, and I was in the first one, and then I was moved to a different one, and my older brother was put in that room. And when I was moved to the other room, that one was terrible. It was just as bad.
So now, when your brother got moved out of the room, did he have stories to tell?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sorry. So here's what I'm getting at. So you guys all knew this place was haunted, and you stayed there, and the family stayed for 14 years.
Well, I mean, at the time, we didn't have a lot of money.
I
It
get
was
that.
a subsidized housing. It was, it was a house, but it was a subsidized housing, and and all the kids that they had, there weren't that many resources to really, run and go somewhere,
Very.
So
I get it.
yeah.
Was
So
the
we were kinda
activity
stuck there.
centralized in? You mentioned something about the bedrooms. Was the activity centralized in one room or another, or was it the entire house?
Oh no, the entire house. Something would happen has happened everywhere. There was poltergeist activity all throughout the house.
All right, so let's start with your first experience in the house when you were younger. What age do you remember having seeing something or something just not being right?
Gosh, I don't know how young I was. I remember being locked. There were two bathrooms. There were two bathrooms and a tub in the middle, and it literally went through the middle of the house. And like it would cut the house in half. That hallway. So whenever I went to the one on the right side, I would always get locked in. I think the first time it happened to me, I was probably 5, 6, somewhere around there. I mean, I remember stuff ever since I was little. My parents told me about things that happened when I was younger than that, but nothing that I remember.
What do you mean by locked in? Like, explain to me locked in, because where's the lock? It's on
the lock was on the inside of the bathroom door, and it would unlock, but you would turn the knob and you pull and everything, it would not open. And then my brothers would try, like if I started screaming for help, my brothers would come and try to open the door on the other side, and it would burn their hands. So yeah, we had some crazy stuff.
Now that's an issue right there, because I'm thinking you must be freaking out because they're yelling at you, that they're telling you that you don't know how to turn the handle. That's my first instinct.
Right.
Like if my brother was in the bathroom, I'd be like, dude, just turn the thing. You don't know how to turn it. That's what I'd be saying the whole time. Right?
Yeah.
So that I can justify that. But if I were to grab that knob and my hand were to turn very hot, now I'm dealing with something.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
Now, so did they get a credit card and just get you out of the door?
No, eventually it would just unlock itself, and like nothing happened. The heat would go away. Yeah, the knob would cool down and everything. It would just go away, like nothing ever happened.
Now this is your earliest memories of this. So this house messed with you guys.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, still to this day, I wonder. I know there was demonic stuff in the house that went on. Haunting, as far as with hauntings, I know that there were just ghosts in there, and then also where I lived every day, it was normal to find an Indian head, a Native American Indian head, or pottery or clay, like in the ground. I would find stuff like that all the time. When I was growing up outside.
Explain this to me, because I need this broken down. I speak for the dumb, and for Joey Paranormal. What do you mean by a head? Like you found an Indian head? Explain that.
I'm sorry. I don't mean like an actual head.
All
I
right,
mean,
okay.
The arrows, the flint arrows, the arrowheads.
Right. I'm there.
Sorry.
Buddy, didn't you panic for a second? Like I was thinking.
I didn't panic. I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, Mike. I think you're the only one who didn't get it.
I think so. Yeah.
Why did I just
representative of the dumb? Yeah.
Didn't I lead with that? But then I lead with that, so I'm allowed that question. See, that's how that works.
Right. Yeah, we understand.
All right. So
it's funny.
As you get older, did you ever get the feeling why the house didn't like your family? Was it like you guys, or was it just the fact that you were living there? You know what I'm trying to say?
That's a good question. I still wonder that myself. I drive by the house sometimes when I go back home. And I see that there's a family living in there currently. I just never had the guts to just stop and, straight up ask them like, hey, are you still having stuff still going on in there, or am I just crazy? But I'd love to find out.
That's a tough ding dong, like, hey, how you doing? I
Right.
used to live here. Let me
Right.
ask you, anybody like
Right.
to see any demons or anything like that? Because that's a tough
Right.
one. You know what I mean?
Anything crazy going on in your house?
That might be the
Right.
get back in your car. That's one of those
Right.
things.
True.
People might freak out. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what's
True.
going on. But all
Just
right,
never
so,
know.
because see, that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering, like, what, like, as if you went there and they were like, no, nothing has ever happened. Then it would be almost like worse, because then I would feel like it was like personally towards your family.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think
Yeah.
you should find that out.
I
That's
would think
something I
that
would
too.
find out. Right? You should
Right.
find buddy. Thoughts? You should find that out, right?
Yeah,
When-
honestly, there is. Honestly, I drive by it almost every day. There's a house that we investigated several times. It was an old group home. Before that, it was the state senator's house. Lot of activity
Mhm.
there. Then the group home sold it, and they completely revamped the house. And I every time I drive by, I think, I wonder if that old lady's still on the third floor, if they're experiencing like the kid downstairs, or if they're experiencing the guy in the basement. I wonder if they have all these experiences like we did, like people who worked there did.
So,
But I've never stopped and said, "Hey,
Mhm.
I'm a stranger, and I wonder if you have ghosts." No, I've never done that.
Joey, you're newly married, so obviously you're making great decisions. Would you stop by the new house and find out, just to see?
For me, I guess it kind of. So it's the way it sounds. It sounds like it was kind of traumatizing for you. You were a young age, and a lot of this was probably very hard to understand. So in that situation, probably not, because I would feel like if I was able to get out of that situation, I wouldn't readily want to just kind of go back into it. However, if it was a house like maybe at my age now at 30, when I was living in a house, something was going on, I left 10 years later, then maybe I'd go back to it, because at 30, it's easier for me to process that kind of thing going on than, as a kid. So it depends on, how old you are in kind of the trauma that you experience, I think.
So, Jai, the question was just asked, did you have a clergy person visit and bless the house?
We did. Unfortunately, I was 14 at the time. It was like right before we moved. I don't know what the wait was, but I'm sorry.
You think? I mean, I said good timing, like, wait till the end,
exactly.
wait till I'm out. But
Exactly.
do you think that worked? Do you think it worked?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I at the time it seemed like it did for the little bit of time that we were left there, but I don't know. There was so much going on there. I just don't know.
Did it follow you guys?
No. Nobody mentioned that they're being haunted or anything. So I think it was something definitely at the house.
All right.
And
So
the
then,
guy who had lived there had died prior to us moving in. He had died in the house as well.
okay. All right. Smith, the guy before you died in the house.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to skip the whole like timelines really quick because the question is, do you have a cast of characters that you've seen through those 14 years in different rooms, or that you remember, like certain different individuals that would always show up?
Good question, Mike.
Every single night in my room, my mom had the plastic runners back in the day in the hallways, and every night when I would go to bed, I would hear you could literally hear the footsteps on them. And across my door, you would see these darker than dark shadows, about 3 or 4 of them, and they would just walk in. You would see them walking into my room every night, every single night. Like we went to church and whatnot, so every night, I was just eyes covered, and I was just, calling on God because I didn't know what else to do.
Wait, Jai, it was that bad where, like, every night, did you tell people they were coming in? Your family?
Oh yeah.
And what was their response?
I mean, there really wasn't much that they could do because there was stuff happening all over the house.
But did you bunk up?
No.
Like I would bunk up.
My little brother my dad ended up leaving for a while, and my little brother started sleeping in my mom's room. And me, I just dealt with it every night.
So, all right. So every night you have shadows walking through your room.
Yes. Every single night.
Do you confront them at any point?
No. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't mess with them.
All right. But did they ever do anything to you? When you were under the covers, did they ever do anything to you?
No, nothing would ever happen. I would just see them marching in the room. Like they would just walk in, it's like back to back. You would see these heads and shoulders and, the whole body just shadow just walking in. Never knew what they were up to or what they wanted.
And this went on for like a long time?
Oh, yeah. Oh, as long as I can remember.
So, all right, Jai, here's the question I have to ask you.
Yes.
In a retrospect, looking back, do you ever think that maybe you should have confronted them or asked them or even asked them to leave? In other words, what I'm trying to say is you went it was a slow kill where, see, my stupidity would have made me I would have confronted it the first time because what you went through, I can't imagine. Like that fear, living in fear, that whole idea of it, which I've done before, there's nothing worse. Like I'll say this. I've always said this to my son and my daughter. I have twins. They're 19. I'll say, sometimes like I would rather get punched in the face and have the physical pain and someone saying something to me that hits where I'm thinking about it for like weeks, where I'm like taking a shower and I'm like, I gotta scream it out of my head because I can't believe they said that to me and I let it go. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
So in retrospect, have you ever considered ever thought that maybe you should have just been like with the covers like bang, like what's up? Like get the fuck up, like get out. Like what do you want? What would you like? What do you
right?
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I totally understand what you're saying. I think if I wasn't so young at the time, I probably would have done something like that. I mean, now that I'm older, I even though I'm kind of nervous about the thought, but I would love to go back and confront what tortured me for so long because I'm not afraid anymore. So, like, I would love to just be like, haha, can't scare me now.
So, all right, were they evil? Did you feel evil? Did you feel evil?
Oh, there was definitely evil. There were times you felt like you were constantly being watched. You would get signs, like things would happen. Like we would be watching TV, and back then it was the click TVs, without the remotes, and the channels would change. The channels would change by themselves. The volume would go up and down whenever it wanted to. We could just be sitting there and all of a sudden it just start blaring just out of nowhere.
Yes.
It would turn on and off by itself. We would usually get something crazy like that, or the lights would blink, or there would just always be some kind of sign before something more evil feeling would come up. I mean, there were times we had an answering machine, and we would leave and come back to the house, and there would be messages like demonic sounding voice speaking in another language, it sounded like they were like cursing the house or whatever. I didn't know what it was. I heard it because my mom played it, and as soon as she did, she was like, "Okay, get out of here." But I still heard it because I'm nosy. So,
How often did that happen?
would happen a lot.
A lot?
It would, and I think I know who might have been up to it.
Really?
Yeah, it was another lady that my dad at the time.
So you think it was a setup there to make her even more nervous?
I think so, because she was a witch and her son was a warlock, and and she didn't like my mom, and she used to actually drive by and give us letters to give to our mom, and it would say stuff like, I'm mixed, so they would say stuff like, "I'm gonna kill your little Oreo cookies," da 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 da. Like, she would threaten us all the time, stuff like that. Yes, on top of everything else.
Ignorant assholes.
Well, I
The
mean,
plot thickens.
you know what? Buddy, I'm gonna go on the record and saying that this woman sounds like a real jerk.
Oh yeah, definitely a jerk, Mike.
You need me to hit
She
the
is.
button?
Jerk.
Right.
So wait a minute. First of all, she says she's a witch. You have to believe in witches for that to be real, which I guess we all do. I'm not a huge believer in witches. I don't know. And then warlocks. I love the name Warlock, by the way. That's like the
Right. It is a cool name.
what a great flip. Like, Warlock. Right?
Right.
It's a great looking guitar.
Yeah. Well, but so I'm not a big fan of them in general, and the idea that they were calling and doing those demonic voices means that they're mentally ill.
Oh yeah, certainly.
That's
Something wasn't right.
Well,
Right,
that's not
but like they literally sound like it sounded like someone who was possessed though. Like when I say demonic voices, it was pitches that a normal human being couldn't reach, whether it was high or low. It was like, and it was yeah, it was crazy.
So, all right, so that's where I reached the point of I don't know which is which, Joe. Is it a real possessed voice, or is this woman just so clinically insane, right, that she's doing demonic voices to another woman over a man? Buddy, you want to go first? As you work in that,
or is it a demon? But yeah, no, it could be. I would lean towards it, especially that this woman's involved in the whole love and the whole awful demonic triangles and everything. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe blame it on her because everything else seems pretty paranormal.
Yeah,
okay,
because we were all a real church-going family.
You see, that's that's all right. Did anybody in the family at any point confront what was in the house?
My mom, she would get fed up and she would just like scream, "What do you want? Leave us alone." Da, da. She would just scream like that and stuff, but it never changed anything.
Well, because what I
Right.
have learned from doing this show for like the last, it feels like 17 years. I'm just saying that it feels. It's not been that long, but it feels, right? Is that people have asked demons or ghosts to leave and confronted them, and it's been resolved. Like Chris, the Treasury, the kid who's doing the Netflix series, he had to actually confront at one point. So it's almost like At what point do you ask it to just politely leave, or just you know what I mean, to just give you a break, like reason with it? Because what I found is a lot of times it's something that's trying to say something to you that can't figure it out any other way to get you to pay attention so that it can say something to you. This whole journey has been that. Like, it's always been like they're trying to get a point across, but they're doing it in the worst way. Then there's demonic things. But why is it demonic? What happened? The guy that died in there before you, what was he up to? What type of guy was he?
I didn't know him.
I feel like if you talk to them, honestly, in any sense, at any time, whether they're demonic or not, honestly, or they're ghosts for that matter, I feel like they'll just listen. And most of them just generally abide, dude. I don't know.
Yeah. And Sarah is right in the comments. Like, we're only halfway through the show, and I gotta be honest, I'm pumped to go back to the house with you. No, I'm serious.
I want to sit in that bathroom.
You know, I want to go in there because, first of all, I don't go to a lot of paranormal things. Just because I don't like ghosts. I don't want to see ghosts. I'm not a big fan of ghosts. I don't want them to follow me home. I have enough life problems as it is. And that's my stance on the show. But come real life, I would love to go to a house like that just to go back with you. I would actually want to walk with you to see exactly what you see, what you hear, what happens. Because I'm not saying I'm ghost free. I'm not saying I'm not stating that out loud. All right. I'm not wishing anything upon me. However, buddy, you agree, disagree. Joey, it doesn't really matter. You haven't been here for 3 months. I feel like I can sense when something's around me, and I do a good job of, like, I went on one haunted thing, the USS Salem.
Fantastic.
There's all this stuff going on in that place. Like, my wife heard a little girl's voice. Literally heard a girl's voice.
We got it on recording.
And that's the same girl they hear. And I kept having staring issues. When I would go in a room, I'd be like I had to stare at something, not to be tough, but to hold my ground. You know what I'm trying to say? Hold your ground. So I found that like I want to go with you, buddy. We all got to go to this. This is something, Jai. This is actually something you should do, because closure is the best thing there is.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list to do it, because I mean,
the guy who does it, Don DeCristofaro, he's an awesome man, and he has a wealth of stories and experiences on both the ship and other investigative
so
adventures.
Back to the house.
We should do it.
The cast of characters. We have the walker in the hallway and the shadow figure. What else happened? Any violence? Anyone get hurt?
As far as violence, my father acted possessed whenever he came in our house. Like, he would be normal, standing outside, he'd be normal and sweet and fine. And he would come in the house and like snatch my mom by the neck and just start going off for no reason, like just going crazy. So, I mean, it got to the point where he was hiding in the shower, waiting on her to get home. Like, weird. It was just weird. You know, like I said, when he wasn't in the house, he was like totally opposite. Totally like teddy bear.
Right. Were you ever with him where you were with him? I'm being serious. Were you ever with him where you were with him long enough outside of the house, right? Where he didn't, you know, he didn't take any drugs, he didn't drink, nothing happened. And it was like, let's say like an hour or two. And then all of a sudden he got, all right, say your mom was with him. Was he nice to her outside the house?
Oh yeah, outside the house, everything was fine. I mean, even if they were alone, he was nice to her. But as soon as it came past that doorstep, it was.
You have an example. You have an example of like when, say, just the three of you were outside the house for long enough where you know nobody took anything, drug wise, booze wise, whatever. And then the minute they walk in the house, you're saying he always just kind of just went down?
Went off. He would just go off, start screaming and going crazy. Like
Why?
we would all look at him like, what is going on? We didn't
Did he ever say
understand
why?
it. I mean, rest in peace. He's gone today, but I'm sorry.
Did he ever say why? Like in his yellings, did he ever say why
No.
he was mad?
Mm-mm. He to the day he died, he said he never remembered doing anything. I mean, till the last day he died. He apologized to my mom and he told her honestly, he said, I swear on everything that, I don't remember doing anything that you guys said that I did. But he did.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe him?
I do because I do because in the end we really sat down and talked about, everything, got resolved everything. And so I really believe, yeah. I mean, he was one, we were raised in church and we had our religious beliefs and whatnot. And he would have been honest about that, especially because he knew he was dying.
Okay. Other males in the house, brothers.
Brothers, yes.
How many?
1, 2, 3. 1, 2. I had 5 brothers, and I had 2 sisters, but now I just have brothers.
I'm sorry.
But only one was living in the house.
All
Other
right.
sisters.
Did he show aggressive signs?
No. None of the boys, nobody showed
Just your
aggression. Yeah, it was just my dad.
How old
when
was
he
your
came in
dad?
the house.
When you remember him being like this?
Oh gosh, I was 15, so he was probably in his 30s, maybe 30s, 40s.
30s, 40s. You have no information about the person that died in the house before you, right?
I do not, but
You don't-
my father knew who he was.
How old
He
was he?
said that he the way they talked, he was a somewhat older, but he was still working. He was still working like a factory type job. He would carry his lunch pail every day to work and stuff. They always talked about that.
So like 40s, we'll say?
Probably,
I
yeah.
guess. Was he a happy guy?
Yeah. The way they talked, my parents talked like he was a good guy.
And how did he die in the house?
That I don't know. They never shared that with me. They just told me that he died in the house.
So nothing happened to him. There was no police that came, nothing like that.
Yeah, I don't think it was like murder or homicide or anything crazy like that.
Good, buddy.
That's I mean, that's relevant, but I mean, think about how she talked about finding arrowheads in the backyard. If that was Native American land at one point, there could be anything connected to that land. Thinking of like 5,000 plus years of history, and only like maybe the last 200 that we can count or have documentation of, especially in Ohio. It probably only goes back to like maybe 1800 at the latest.
But buddy, the only comparison to make to her dad would be the guy that lived there before her.
Maybe
because he's near the same age, and it didn't happen to her brother. See what I'm getting at?
But I mean, it could have been. It could have been for any reason that the spirit decided to attach onto her father. It could have been any of them, dude. I don't think it's. From an investigative standpoint, I don't think it's relatable with just this one guy. I think you could go back to.
I always start with the thing before it, dude. I always go one step at a time. Like when I jump a pond, it's one rock, one rock, one rock, and the last rock was this guy dying. So that's why I'm interested in what happened to him. So
we had a lot of poltergeist activity as well.
What do you mean by that?
One time the phone was ringing and my mom got tired of it ringing and she was like, I wish someone would answer the phone. And I was standing right next to it and the receiver lifted up and landed on the table. And of course I walked away from it and my mom walked over and nobody was even on the phone. and she hung it back up.
What
You
type
know,
of phone
something
was
with,
it? Was it the wired phone? Did it have the cord?
yeah, the old school phone, like, you know, with the whole head, the receiver and all that. Yeah, with the coil cord.
Was it the punch, but not the?
Was it?
No, it was a punch one.
All right,
It was a
goddamn.
punch one, I think,
dial
at the time.
sucked.
Those
Yeah.
big fat, though.
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
those are heavy. Those still are heavy handles.
Mhm.
I mean, my
They
mom,
are.
rest in peace. We're Italians, buddy. Drink. My
My
mom would
mother's
hit me.
Italian too.
She'd hit me with a wooden spoon. She used to hit me with that phone if she could. She had 3 boys. It was like, you know, I mean, we knew. We were like spies.
Mhm.
Like we knew what we deserved. Like when we got hit with
Right.
the spoon, or she hit us with like the phone, the head of the phone, or again, my mom, rest in peace, once threw a fork at my brother Ray, and it went boom and just stuck in his chest for a second, stood there, and then
Oh.
dropped. But you know what? We never thought it was wrong what she did. We always knew we deserved it. I swear to you, that was the feeling. No, not one of us to this day would ever say like any about a balk she gave us upside the head was well deserved. Well deserved. So I'm sorry.
Okay.
So poltergeist, the receiver just jumps up. That's
Mhm.
that's enough to make me never come back home. Me personally.
Mm. Things will
what's
fly
another-
across the room. I
like
mean, stuff will fly across the room. Ashtray one time flew across the room. Then, I mean, you know, Thanksgiving's coming up, and I thought that this was perfect timing to tell you this story. We had a Thanksgiving turkey. My mom cooked it the night before. And she put it in the fridge, and she was going to heat it up the next day. So the next morning for Thanksgiving, she opens the door to the fridge, and the turkey's gone. And she's asking everybody, who, you know, what happened to the turkey? Where's the turkey? Nobody has any idea where the turkey is. We search everywhere, can't find the turkey. Later on that day, I go to our front hall closet where all our jackets were hung up. Yeah, were hung up in there, and there was the platter, and the turkey was there, but it was the full skeleton. It was intact, the full skeleton, no skin, no cartilage, no nothing, no meat, nothing. It was simply just the carcass,
That's weird.
the bone. Yeah,
Because if an animal would have done it, it wouldn't have been like, was it all neat and together, or was it?
exactly. Yeah, it was perfectly. It was like it was looking at a turkey, but looking at the skeleton of a turkey. It was just bones.
Weird. That's weird.
Can I say something?
That's all it was. Sure.
Buddy, how many shows are we at? We're getting close to 100, right?
100 will be on December the 18th, Mike.
Okay. That's the first time I've actually been scared on a show.
That's
Really?
pretty scary, dude.
No. Something
Yeah.
about look, I've heard people get killed, dismembered heads, all that stuff. The fact that you found the turkey completely deboned.
Not deboned, meated.
You know what I mean?
It's meated.
Mhm.
God damn it.
Everything.
That's disgusting.
That's-
Incredibly strange.
Yeah.
Weird.
Very weird. Like, what in God's name would want to eat a turkey? Like,
Exactly. Right.
what demon eats turkey? You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
so, and then if it's not a demon, what animal other than my dog could probably fit a whole turkey in his mouth and then just spit out a full thing of bones?
We had a cat, but
No, I don't
wasn't
think
that
cats
good
do
at
that.
eating a turkey.
Well, unless you got Garfield. Other than that, you had no choice.
No.
So, buddy, explanation for the turkey popping up, not popping up because that would mean it's done.
Right.
It ending up completely just bones.
Honestly, I love turkey skin, and I cannot wait for Thanksgiving just to eat the turkey skin. But I myself couldn't do this feat. This is not like a this is not something that somebody could do. Even like just not even eat the whole turkey. But I mean, I could eat a whole turkey maybe. But to have it all into one shapely position and hiding in the closet, it's just I don't know how I would approach this as an investigator. I don't know if I would go and I'd probably put Joey Paranormal in the closet, like Joe, just sit here and see what happens, and shut the door, and leave him there, and that's what we do with Joe.
What if he came out with no beard, completely nude, just like all
all
basic,
basic? He'd be
like,
basic.
everything's bald, everything just clean.
You'd have the thing, you know, in
Yeah, that'd be gross. All right, back to characters. I want to get really quick characters.
Mhm.
I know there's other poltergeist things that have happened, but were there any people that you remember that were always there? Ghosts, spirits, demons, whatever you want to call them.
They said the one in the bathroom always bothered me. The one in the bedroom.
They were different. Were they different? Were they different people?
I
Like,
believe-
what I'm saying is, did you get a different vibe?
I believe they were different people because there were times where you could open up your window and you would see like somebody's face in your window,
Oh boy.
but they weren't really there.
What window? What window? What do you mean?
Like my bedroom window. There
Look
were times
outside?
I would open the window, open the curtain, especially if it was dark. I'd open the curtain and I'd see somebody's face like right in my window.
Was there always the same
But
face?
they weren't really there. It's
Was
like
it
they were
always the
there and
same
it
face?
disappeared.
Was it the same face?
No. One time it was a family member. But all the other times it was just like some weird face. And then our neighbors had issues too.
With
Our
faces?
neighbors had like they had the face of a demon created itself on a wooden door.
It's the land. It's the
Man,
land.
something.
I
What-
think it's the land. I really
What
do.
floor was your bedroom on?
First floor.
Okay.
It was all ranch. It was ranch style
So
house. Four bedrooms.
Sarah is one of our she impresses us with her intelligence and usually uses words that makes me, Buddy, and Joey have to go get a dictionary.
Right.
But she's being nice tonight. She asked, was the house near any railroad tracks?
Not that I can think of. Not that close. I mean, I don't ever remember being at home and hearing a train. Like, yeah.
So
is it in the city? Is it in the woods? Whereabouts is this the area that you live?
It's not in the woods. It's part of the city. I mean, like right across the street from us, there was a big baseball field, you know, where they do like all kinds of baseball and stuff. I'm sorry.
No. You don't need to be sorry. I just do this. This is part of being Italian. I speak with my hands.
Okay.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
When you want to look up the history of that land historically at one of the historical centers, which I know Buddy could probably get us some information on the land itself. Wouldn't you want to know what happened in that land? Wouldn't you want to know the history of that building? And then wouldn't you want to know if the thing was still there?
I say yes to all of those. I've been wanting to know, and I actually not long ago asked who the town historian was because I wanted to find out, and nobody really got back with me, so I didn't get a chance to get any further with it. But I've tried to research, and I can't find anything enough to find out if it's Indian burial grounds or what it was.
So, Jai, if we could help you with this, which, Buddy, we probably could help, right?
It might be tough. If Native Americans are involved, I mean, they keep some of them keep a tremendous research history. Others got absolutely eradicated by, foreign invaders.
But you're good at this stuff. He works with the.
I'm pretty good at the digging stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
He works with the Varnum Armory in it's East Greenwich.
It's in East Greenwich, but even in my own paranormal group, I do all the historical digging and all the research into locations and houses and residentials and other buildings and whatnot. So I can get what I can get. The land is tough because even the buildings are tough sometimes because certain cities and towns don't always keep the best records. Here in Rhode Island, it's about 50-50. And some of the Providence, some of the best. Warwick is really good. West Warwick is really good, but others are like Johnston is terrible. Anyway,
hey, hold on. Hold on, Joey.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell. No, I'm not you, Joey Paranormal. Joey Paranormal. If you were in her position, wouldn't you want to get all of these facts, find out all this information, so you have some sort of like closure and move past a certain part of your life? And then second, Joe, you get to ask a question. So go ahead.
I definitely I definitely want to look into what at least was on that property prior to living there, especially now at an age where you can kind of use that. You might know where you need to go, who you need to talk to, or at least you get that ball rolling, because it definitely, what you're describing is super interesting. And I personally, just from sitting here for the last 50 minutes, would like, I really want to know like what was there before, to try to kind of like piece that together. But what I've kind of been dying to know is, obviously you've had these experiences when you were younger, but have you had anything happen to you, later in life? Maybe has anything followed you, or have you just had anything that you've experienced, maybe not associated to it, but still paranormal?
Yeah, Lemmy's place.
Okay.
Honestly, yeah, I for
he was a
years,
a collector, so I could see that.
Yes,
he was
and he collected
collector,
a lot
so
of
yeah.
a lot of knives and whatnot. And the first time I spent the night in his house, I felt like there were soldiers just standing all around the room, just staring at me. Like it was so uncomfortable. I asked his girlfriend to tell them to stop, and she did, and they did.
Wow, what
That's crazy.
See,
what kind of a
good for
collector
you.
did he have?
What, buddy?
What'd you say?
You say soldiers? Was it like I know he had the Civil War, the Union hat, which I love. But was he? What did he collect?
Yeah,
he had a collection of from what I know.
Yeah,
he had a collection of some stuff that's not worth talking about on YouTube because they just freak out.
Right.
Stuff that got him into trouble, but it wasn't what he was
Doesn't
about.
matter. He had an incredible collection of historical stuff. That's
it
how
was.
I see it.
Yeah,
like Kirk Chilling, like that kind of historical.
Buddy, just Google it after the show.
All right, I'll just Google it.
Buddy,
it was a great collection for what it was, just not things that.
Buddy, remember the stormtroopers from Star Wars?
Yes.
Remember why they wore the certain outfits the way they did? The reason for it?
Yes.
All right. Now use your historical
like
common sense.
Yeah, all right, that's fine, Mike. I get it.
All right, then just drop it. And by the way, that's not a window. That's not a window. I can see the shadow of you now. So there's no loons out there.
There's loons out there, Mike.
Shit.
Don't talk about my loons.
I digress. I'm sorry. I apologize for Buddy.
We gotta get Buddy a wooden mallard.
He's been drinking. He'll be okay.
So this time though around, you said, "Let's get them out of here." Like, in other words, you were like, "Nah, fuck this. I'm older now. I'm not dealing with this shit. Get them out."
Exactly.
So see, that's where I wonder. I wish. I feel like if your dad wasn't possessed, he would have been better at holding it down. And I think that's why they possessed him, because I don't know how to compare this, but in my house, like my kids and my wife is the one who kind of runs stuff because I kind of let that go because I got so much going on in my head. But when something needs to be taken care of or squashed, it's me. I just take that responsibility. Now, if I was crazy and I wasn't involved and I was smashing people, that would just make it so that there's nobody that's that. Like in other words, they took out by possessing him, they took out the base of the safety of the house, right?
Yeah, it was total confusion. I mean, it was like, my dad was hitting my mother and abusing her and always screaming at her and whatnot, and us kids, we were all like, some like I had a brother and a sister that was like 15, 16 years older than me. So, they would be babysitting us kids or watching us kids while they're arguing and doing their thing. And, and then, so in the meantime, the crazy stuff would just go on. I mean, one time my mom was washing clothes and the water turned to blood. it was not like my brother thought it was the end of the world. He started praying, and then started crying. And he still talks about it to this day. But it happened. My mom was like, "Oh my God," and my brother asked what happened. She told him what was going on. He didn't believe her. He ran over. He looked at it and he saw it. I ran over. I looked at it and saw it. Next thing you know, she closed it up. She opened it back up, and it was regular water.
That's awful. That's
That's crazy stuff.
It seems like it was really out to mess with you guys on a very mental level.
Yeah.
How have you transitioned from living in that house for 14 years to moving on, working with Lemmy, all this stuff? Like,
Lemmy.
How do you, in general, how do you handle your? We all have baggage. We all have our mental things that we carry with us that we got to deal with on a daily basis. I know that, buddy. We all know this. So you have to handle. How do you handle yours? Like, how do you come to grips or come to some sort of like resolution or agreement with like what happened and how you're going to be moving forward?
Because of it, it's caused me to love the paranormal. I'm at the point now. At first, when I started watching like, ghost hunting shows and paranormal shows, I was like a little nervous and stuff. Now I watch them to go to sleep. Like, it doesn't scare me at all. And, and a lot of times people are like, well, why doesn't it scare you? And I'm like, you know what? I was scared long enough, for 14 years. Like, what's the most you can do to me? Take me out of here and I'll say thank you with all this crap going on in the world. So, what's the worst they could do?
No, I sound like I'm 100% with you. I think Joey's smiling because he knows we might share the same mind on this. Whatever. The thing too with getting into paranormal, which is something that I've started to do. We're expanding it. I love people that are starting off. I like hearing people's new experiences and their journeys, like, because a lot of the times you get people that are known for like a certain story they have that happened in the past, and they make the rounds. And you hear kind of the same thing, which is all right, but you hear the same thing. But then when you get somebody that's new and is looking to make the journey into it, that's by far to me the most interesting thing there is, because that's where I'm at. I think we're all kind of at that position. We all kind of, I don't want evidence. I want experiences. Does that make sense? Like, I don't care about proving to anybody else, but I want to be there when it happens. I want to see it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I want to do it in a rock and roll sort of way.
Let's do it.
And I'm not even joking. Like the legit paranormal transfer that we're making. I was in a band for 12 years. We actually did like the Northeast with Stained and Godsmack, which they both ended up cover of Rolling Stone, and I ended up here on Legit Paranormal. I loved Aaron from Stained. I had an incident with Sully from Godsmack. It was just an incident. Yeah, we were headlining a show in Providence, and his manager told me that I couldn't go in the green room to get my stuff because he was praying. He was doing his prayer. And I'll be honest, right? I was 21, 22, 23. I hear that and I'm drunk and I'm, whatever. I'm like, I gotta get my bag. Like, I don't give a shit what he's doing. I need my bag. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, and I didn't realize how small he was. No offense to him, I guess, again, but like I was the shortest guy in my group and I'm 6 feet, and Sully couldn't have been more than 5'7", 5'6". The little guy, angry little guy, angry that I broke, angry that I had to get my bag. But I actually said to, you know what? My favorite memory of that was I actually said to him, "My bag." Like I just repeated it like a jerk. Like as he's yelling at me, I was like, my bag. Like I know that's why I'm in here. Anyway, all right.
So Keep Away was written about you then.
Oh, he we knew the
Oh my gosh,
manager.
man.
We knew the manager because he was the boy. He played drums, guitar in fucking A. He was in another band. The guy who was the manager of Godsmack discovered them, and he was in another band. Man, I forget a band he was in, but he did
put a pin in it.
No, you'll remember it if you read it. He did a showcase with Seventh Rail Crew, us, and Godsmack once in Boston. And we knew we were just there as the fluff, like they had no interest in us. So we did every song that we didn't like. We were not afraid to bomb. Like if you like, you know when you're set up, you know how bands work. Sometimes you get set up and you're put in a position where you're just there for fluff and no one really cares. So it's like, you know what, no one cares. Let's give them something they'll remember. Maybe not in a good way.
Right.
Oh, they can remember this stuff. And Jai, as far as band music goes, the worst experience I ever had was we performed at the Dairy Palooza, which is in Gary, New Hampshire.
Oh,
Show up.
Dairy Palooza. Nice.
There's like 6,000 kids, right? They give you 15 minutes, maybe tops 20 minutes to set up. Now, I know you hate this music. I'm going to guarantee you do. Rap mixed with rock, which I apologize for in advance, okay? Because I know people that like metal, they just hate that. But we did it.
My son's a rapper and his wife is a rock singer, so
all right. We did it though. There was no Linkin Park. There was no Limp Bizkit. The only bands before us that I can remember were Beastie Boys, Urban Dance Squad, Rage Against the Machine, and the Judgment Night soundtrack.
311.
No, 311 did not beat us.
They were like late 90s when
But
they
were not
around.
like, but no, we were 91 to 94 we started. So we were like, we just wanted to do it because I love the Fat Boys and Run DMC. And I'm not joking when I say I love Fat Boys because people joke about how they had a lot of cliche songs, but they actually back in the day they were called the Furious something. They were incredible. I love that style of rap with just beats. And then I love Motley Crue to Guns N' Roses to Metallica. Yeah. So I started to like blend there. So we got together and we're like, let's put these two together. I want to play this kind of music. You know what I mean? Because that's the kind of thing we want to do. So now,
cool.
What do you do when you have memories of these things? Do they pop up a lot in your head? Do you have a lot of residual issues from living there?
I think I do. I mean, I think about it often. Anytime I'm anywhere I go, I always, wonder, is it going to be haunted? Like, if I look for a new place, I get a really, really bad headache when I get around something demonic or evil. And so like, even when I look for a place where I'll feel like I can't breathe, like I'm being suffocated. So it's like, even looking for an apartment, I just have to make sure that that feeling feels right. And it's something that bothers my brother so much that my brother would, for the longest time, would only sleep in the living room. He wouldn't sleep upstairs. And he said that was because he had a fear that the ghosts were gonna come and bother him.
Here's my question. Sorry. So you guys have been opened up to the world of the paranormal. Now, you can go someplace else and see marching ghosts or know if a house is haunted. The siblings all have the same sort of ability.
No, actually, I think was the only one that was sensitive to most of this stuff. More so than
either one of your parents or your grandparents.
My mom and my grandmother, they both had abilities as well. And like even me, I had abilities growing up as a child. I told my mother when her father died before, and I'm sorry, I say her father because I didn't know my grandfather personally. I never met him a day in my life. But the day he died, I told my mom that he died before she found out.
Wow.
Like I just already knew. Like,
So
and I used to warn my dad that if a car is going to catch on fire, don't buy this car, or things like that. Ever since I was a little girl.
Who was Italian in your family?
My mother.
So,
because I'm talking with my hands.
Oh, here we go. Hold on.
Your mom, was she full Italian?
Yes.
Holy cow. And your dad?
My dad was Black and Native American.
Nice.
Wait a minute. He had
I
Native
know there's
American.
a connection. I just thought about that.
We have Native
Blackfoot
American.
in our family.
Wait a minute. So he's got Native
Yeah.
American in him. So there's half
That's
of him
the
that's Native
connection.
American in him. So when he walks into the
Yeah.
house, he has Native American in him.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't think about that.
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
That's scary.
Yeah, we have Blackfoot in our family.
You know what? Go ahead, buddy. You want to ask me? I know you do, but hold on one second. I tell you what.
Yeah.
Those two races are my favorite, especially if they're together, because you must be so difficult to deal with, but so much fun. Like
Pretty much.
right? Because no, I'm being honest. Like I always say that it's like something about Italians. We're very close. It's a great mix. It's perfect.
Yeah. I love to have fun. I love to tell jokes, have a good time, blah, blah, blah. But don't cross me and we'll be fine.
That's exactly
That's how I am.
Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Come on.
I have a wicked question. So, I have a statement to make more than anything. You talked about having certain feelings, certain vibes when you go to certain places, and thinking that it's and referring to it as evil. Let me just tell you, I myself, over the years, have since I was a really small child, I've had this. I call it the feeling. It sometimes it starts in my chest, sometimes it starts in my neck, back of my neck, sometimes it starts in my back. But it's like a tingly, it's like a pressure feeling. It's like my body's telling me when there's something about. Sometimes I get super fucking anxious. I'm not, excuse my French, I'm not at all an anxious person. Anybody who knows me, I don't get worried about anything at all. Nothing bothers me. But sometimes I'll get really, really anxious in the moment. I'll have those feelings. I just know somebody's like right on top of me. And 99% of the time, I'm not necessarily investigating, but I'm in a location that may or may not be haunted. That I've done other things that will tell me it's haunted. So not always are these
not always evil.
Evil. It's just your body picking up on that energy. I call it an energy. They are an energy. They can draw energy from us. They can draw energy from our equipment. They can draw energy from their environment. They're just an energy that manipulates other energies. So that's how your body's reacting to this particular energy. It doesn't necessarily mean it's evil, but it could be. But honestly, I've experienced evil about that much in Christ over 13 years of investigating this stuff.
Okay, cool.
Joey, would you like to step in and ask an intelligent question and make up for Buddy?
No, I would not.
Okay.
No, I'll pass. Yeah, no, it's fine.
All right. Buddy, I'm just joking. But by the way, though, I hate to interrupt all this, but I am now officially having. This is like what the kids call meta. I'm now having a bar fangul in bar fangul. Now, Jai, you have Italian in you. You know what I mean by that. When you say the word out, when you say bar fangul, you know exactly what I'm trying to say, right?
I think I know what you're trying to say. I think.
And then the Nana with the wooden spoon, which my mom and my Nana carried a wooden spoon in their purse. This is no joke. At all times had a wooden spoon in their purse. And you know why I was there, guys? Joey, I know you're young, and this is like, oh, God.
I know exactly what the wooden spoon
is. It wasn't abuse, Joey. It wasn't abuse.
I'm not even Italian.
No, it was corrective action.
Right.
I don't know why we saw it so differently then, but it was just like, yeah, here comes the spoon. And my mom. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
My
tell me
mom,
the
it
other
was
one.
a slipper. My mom used a slipper.
My mom
She
used
pop
it
off her
too.
slipper. She could make it go around the corner. She could make it like fly and turn around the corner and still hit you. Like we never understood.
You were never safe.
I felt bad
Right.
when I hit like 15 because like you get to the point where I was just blocking everything she was doing. I'm just it's making her more and more mad. It's like I almost want to let her hit me, you know? Because the thing with my dad is
Mhm.
That's a great.
we should
mental
sell wooden
right
spoons with Wafangul in them. Yes, we should.
Yeah.
The thing with my dad was my dad. So just to give you a quick thing, my dad was 5'3", my mom was 5'3.5". My brother's a 5'7".
Oh my God! What a little guy.
I'm 6 feet. So my dad never hit me. I think he may have kicked me in the ass once, but he never actually laid his hands on me because my dad had a look. Like my dad was like, all right, my dad grew up at Federal Hill. My mom grew down Lymansville. Now, if you know anything about that Rhode Island area, it's all Patriarcha all the way through. So I'm not saying anything else about that stuff. I'm just saying, like, my parents had a way about them. I remember looking at their wedding album, right? And we came on a picture of like, why'd you take a picture with this old guy? Who's this guy? And my mom would go like, oh, it doesn't matter. Flip the page. That
Right.
actually happened to me. I'm being serious. So my dad would give me a look where it was like, oh, no, I knew whatever I was doing. No, you just stop and go the other way. So he
That's
never
right.
had to do anything. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I feel horrendous and horrible for you that you had to deal with watching the abuse. Did the abuse ever come towards you?
No, never toward me at all.
Just your mom?
Just my mom. It was well, I can't say just my mom. My older brothers as well.
Did we get into fights with them?
At times, yes.
So I asked this because I'm a little messed up from life's experiences. Has it messed you up?
I
Seeing that?
mean, well, I tell people, the type of childhood I grew up in, like, of course I'm crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
how could I not be crazy? But I think I've taken the best of my crazy and I'm making the best out of it. And, and if it takes that crazy to go back and face what I dealt with as a child, then hey, I'm in.
Yeah. It's there is definitely a point in your life where it's I can't explain it. Like you used to be like, maybe I shouldn't say that, and then you get to the point where it's like, I don't give a fuck. I'll just say it.
Right.
And that's where I've hit with my life. Like what I plan to do, what I want to do, what I'm about to do. I've got some naysayers, but yet it just keeps getting done, and it keeps getting bigger, and it's getting really close to being very big. And it's just like, you know what? Whatever we want to accomplish, we want to accomplish. I literally said on a show, like I don't know how many months ago, because he keeps drinking beers from local breweries. Like, why can you not get a beer named Legit Paranormal Brew? Right?
Right.
We go into the brewery. Buddy thinks we're there to talk about one beer. The guy starts talking to me, and I go, you know what? It'd be a great name for another beer. Bafangul. And the guy, because he's Italian, loves it. The daughter loves the idea, draws a picture. Next thing you know, bada bing, bada boom. I'm drinking my own beer in my own bar. My point is, if we think about it, we write it down, it becomes real. Then we do it. I would love to work with you on this. I would love to help you on this.
Certainly.
I really would, because I think it would help you in general in life, like a lot, to get a little closure on this place. To be able to move on somewhat from it, to understand.
Yeah.
Maybe understand it some more,
Right.
Yeah, and I didn't even mention the UFO activity, so.
Well, go ahead. No, go ahead. What do you mean? Well,
Yeah.
no, go ahead.
Across from our house, there was a big field. There were fields. There were like cow fields and stuff around us too. And at nighttime, we'd be sitting watching TV, and all of a sudden it would turn staticky. It got to the point we would literally say, "Hey, Mom, the UFOs are back." That it got that to be that normal for us. But you would look outside the window and there would be UFOs right up in the sky. Sometimes they were all white. There would be sometimes one, sometimes two, sometimes three. There would be times when they would just shoot up in the air real fast. They would just like go real fast, just, out, to nowhere. And then one thing that was weird, though, whenever they made noise or whenever they had different color lights, I never woke up. Everyone else in the house would wake up. Everyone else in the house saw them. Like, that was a big time event, like in our house, that one got so close, like they could see like a shadow of the figures inside of it. And I slept through the whole thing. The rest of the house got up. So I always wondered, that was kind of weird. Like, how did I sleep through that?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of questions to be asked right there, because it's one, again, all right, I can deal maybe with the ghost spirits being locked in the bathroom. I can deal with that stuff.
Right. No, I'm not trying to.
Hell,
I'm just saying, this is weird.
you can put blood in my laundry, and I'll take blood in my laundry. But if a spaceship comes down so close that I can see the people that are driving it, I'm moving. I'll be homeless by myself. I would lose my mind and leave. Now, maybe
there was a family that lived near us, and the activity was so bad in our town that we were on Unsolved Mysteries.
Wow, that's pretty big. That's something right there.
Yeah,
but I love when you're
with Robin Stack. With Robin Stack.
Back in the day, yeah. I don't whoever the guy's name is. Yeah, he was. It was all of them, but yeah, there was a family that they centered on, but it was all the same activity that we were dealing with.
Did you miss the whole ghost hunters like phase, that whole phenomenon? Because I missed it completely. Like, that's what's weird with me. Like, when that was big, I had kids and I was in a bubble, so I missed like years of it. When I came out of it, like, these guys know all these ghost hunter stories and these shows and the people that are on the shows. Never watched a single one.
Well, I mean, like, I started out with Ghost Adventures, and now I watch just about. I know. Now I watch like every paranormal.
No, that's
show
cool.
That
did you ever see Ghost Hunters International?
Oh yeah,
Barry
I've seen that. Watched it.
Mm-hmm. You know, Barry, we had Barry on the show.
Barry's awesome.
Okay.
And Barry scared the living out of me.
Really?
Well, because Barry said that.
I love Barry.
We're talking about the Skinwalker Ranch and what's beneath it, because that's my biggest interest.
Yeah.
The fact that they keep finding stuff beneath it, and they won't say what it is, yet they keep saying it's serpentine, whatever. So he says that he was on another dig, and he actually said the exact words that this new dig that he was on scared him so much that it completely changed his paradigm. So I just let that go, and I waited. So I asked him on this dig, like, he wouldn't say what he saw, but he was terrified of what he just went on. Like, literally, we had Barry Fitzgerald like shocked. That's how I feel like he just came off something where he was like shocked, and I'm like,
wow,
what's going on? Like, what did you see? Whatever. So finally, I got at the point where I asked him, like, what you saw beneath the ground, was it serpentine in nature? And he said yes. Which scared me more, because now it seems like there's look, is it dragons? I know that sounds so stupid.
But you never know.
Snakes that live beneath the ground that they keep finding the heat signals to, that they claim where evil lies. Now, Jai, I'm a firm believer of this, and this has been my stance for a while. There is a positive without a negative. There cannot be one side of anything. There has to have another side to it. So I think where light is dark, it just has to be. So we deal with it that way, right? We I think some people that go ghost investigating, right, that are disrespectful, are inviting in bad things that they don't know what they're doing. They don't.
Oh, certainly.
Did you know that you have to close out a Ouija board when you're done playing with it? No, I'm being dead
I've
serious.
learned
Did you
through
know that?
watching the ghost shows. I've learned that. Yes.
Oh, all right. Dude, I didn't know. They're like, you got to go to
I
like
don't.
quit or whatever. I'm like, what do you mean quit? Like, what? I would
You gotta
just
exit
close
out, Mike.
No,
You gotta exit out.
I think you just counter circles 3 times around goodbye or something like that. And you can't break connection. You can't take your hands off until you do it.
That is the dumbest
That's
game.
weird.
It should not be made. Such horrific things happened when it was being made. Like the people that were manufacturing it died. It was. I hate the Ouija board. But all right, Jai.
Yeah.
So, what interests you most in the paranormal world? And because I say this paranormal world, because what I've discovered, it goes from cryptids like Frogman, Dogman, all those guys, to ghosts, to demons, to Chupacabra, never mind, to aliens, to spiritual, to angels. Like it's become such a big word. Like it almost feels like it should be like subsection, but it's all one thing. So what interests you most now? Like you feel kind of you seem more free to me, like you're like willing to be like, let's go do this. So
Yeah.
what interests you?
I think ghosts, and I think even demons. Like I just, it sounds crazy, but I just strongly feel like I have a gift to fight them. I dream every night. Like I dream every night of fighting demons, of investigating ghosts, and like it sounds crazy, but I literally dream about it. Like,
No, is that
this is a different scenario every time, but I'm always dreaming it.
question? Do you have control
Yes.
at all in your dreams?
Here we go.
At times I do have control. There are times that I realize I'm in my dream and I remember, or like if I see someone dead in my dream, I might talk to them and then I'll be like, wait a second, you're not alive. And it's like, I'll just I'll take control and change it. Yeah.
Buddy, would you like to explain why that's important about the conversation last week?
Yeah, I'm curious.
We had a guest on it. Was it last week or a few weeks ago?
2 weeks
David
ago.
Barr, he's no, that was a few weeks ago. Now he's a dream therapist. No, he's not a therapist. He's a dream teacher.
Yeah.
And he talked about the importance of like telling yourself you're going to be in charge of your dreams as you go to bed. All these techniques you do to make yourself have good lucid dreams and be in control of your dreams. And then we didn't talk about it in the show, but David and I have talked about like the dead, the spirits visiting you and talking to you and communicating with you through dreams. I think it's just huge. I think it's a huge area where research needs to be done.
Jai, what happened was I was explaining to him that ever since I saw the Elephant Man when I was a kid and started having nightmares, I somehow switched to where in my dreams, if something bad happens, like, and this is a true example, last month, I had a dream. I don't remember a lot of them, but I had a dream where somebody, my neighbor, would stab me. And I was like, you can't. And I pulled the thing out and everything was fine. And I redirected. Like, since that time, I got scared about the Elephant Man. I've been able to stop dreams, change them, almost as if like they're like a movie set, and fix them.
Yeah.
And he made a big deal out of this. The guy we had on. He's like, oh, that's lucid something.
It's lucid dreaming, being in control of your dreams. I do the same thing.
That's what you have, Jai. That's
cool.
Big. That's a big thing because that's something in your head that went through so much trauma that has now broken through and enabled you to control a different level of being. Like you're not awake, but you're still in control of something somehow because it's that fight or flee thing. It's like eventually you stick up for yourself. Like that's how I feel. Like that's why I feel like I wish like that your dad wasn't the one that was, because I feel like he would have helped you. Maybe he would have been the one that could have helped you through the shadow figures in the room. Because if there's one person I would want, like if my daughter saw shadow figures in a room, the first person she'd call from Bryant College would be me to come down and sit in a room.
No,
That's
sir.
that's how that goes, you know what I mean, buddy?
On many an occasion, I've been camping in the Adirondacks.
Are you
Nice
playing
try,
Loon?
bud.
Are you
Nice
playing
try,
Sounds
bud.
of Loon? Did you just look up the sounds of Loon?
Maybe next time just look up actual loon sounds and
Almost-
not some,
almost
like
had to
National
go.
Geographic movie.
Oh, I could hear it. I'm like, oh, I could hear one. And then the guy started talking that son of a.
I don't know what.
Almost
wrong.
had it.
I don't know what's wrong with you anymore, man. I
Joe
don't
knows
know.
what the loon sounds like. It sounds like a loon.
Very
All right.
serene when it's real.
So, Jai, I'm gonna start to wrap this up before I pass this to the other guys.
Oh,
We definitely got to do something together.
Certainly.
I'll be honest. I just personally enjoy your vibe.
Thank you.
I get along with it. So, and I like how you describe stuff. Like, you get a very good way of explaining stuff and being descriptive. A little too descriptive with the turkey, but you know. But if I have a nightmare tonight, I'll have to be like, dude, that's a dream. She's just talking about something. It's not a turkey. Something like that. All right,
Right.
Joey, what do you say to wrap it up?
I just want to say, hey, thanks for being on the show, and it was great to talk to you. And I get a feeling that we will converse again at some point in the somewhat near future. So, because there's definitely a lot of things I don't think we got to touch on that I'd love to ask you about things outside of the paranormal. So, hopefully soon,
buddy.
Okay.
one of the things I like
Sounds
to
great.
touch on with you inside of the paranormal, because one from the other, I listened to your story. I just have so many questions I wanted to ask. Look forward to hearing you on maybe future endeavors here on the podcast, the Legit Podcast Network. So for Joe, I just want to ask: you're drinking Legit Paranormal Brew. I'm drinking Legit Paranormal Brew. You're drinking Balfango, Mike. But for the Legit Paranormal Brew, do you smell the vanilla in it, Joe? Is it me? I smell vanilla, and I taste like deliciousness.
Jai, tell me,
Yeah.
tell me if you come from my world. I wanted a beer that tasted like beer. I said,
Well, yeah, that would make sense.
and no, but they're like, we want blueberry in it.
no, Mike, I was going to agree with you,
Blueberry, Mike.
buddy. It smells like beer.
Joe,
There are hints of
open your
hops.
palate and your mind, Joe.
There are hints of hops and some other beer-like fragrances that
But he'll
remind me
intro-
of beer.
It's got
But
a
he'll
hint of
introduce-
vanilla smell though in it. No,
Dude, you'll introduce beers and be like, it tastes like a creamsicle, and
So,
it's like, that's not beer.
let me just tell this really quick story because I want to shut Joe up in this point. When we went to see this brewer, Joseph, at the Six Pack Brewery, he's like, "Here, try one of these."
Just call
And
you
he handed
Joseph.
me this beer that he had, and I sipped it, and he's like, "What do you taste?" I'm like, I it's weird, but I taste almost like a barrel aged, and it wasn't advertised as barrel aged. It wasn't advertised as like an oak stock or anything like that. I'm like, I taste like something barrely, like something oaky in it. It's weird. He's like, well, funny that you mentioned that. He's like, only about like 5 or 6 people that have actually tasted this get the same vibe. But it's the hop that they use. It's an Australian hop. I forgot what he said it was. Had a charcoal / oak barrel taste in its like it. That's what it was meant to taste like, and only a few people had picked up on that. And Buddy had picked up on that shit.
Joe,
There you go.
Buddy, if you
Joe,
smell burnt toast, then
Vanilla,
I'll start being
Joe.
worried.
There's vanilla in
Joe.
this.
Joey, it was like watching 2 Star Trek fans talk about exactly where Dr. Spock
Right.
is on the neck.
Right.
That's how
Also-
upsetting it is to me. I was like, oh Christ, who cares? Does it taste like beer? I want
Of course
like,
it tastes like beer. It's not just beer, Mike. It's
here's what you don't get. Growing up, especially being in the band, being young, I didn't care what it tasted like, dude. I was trying to drink it as fast as I could to get onto the
Right.
next.
And get drunk.
right. And then
Right, are you agree with what I'm saying? You know what I'm
I
saying?
do,
you just
Mike. When
drink
I
and
was
drink.
20, when I was 17, when I shouldn't be drinking beer, and I just want to drink as much as I could to get drunk. Now I enjoy the taste. I enjoy the body of the beer. My palate's a little bit more developed. My palate isn't bothered by cigarette smoke because I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. So now I can taste like when you first sip a beer, that smell you get first, and then you sip it, and the taste you get in the front of your tongue, the taste you get in the back of your tongue, the taste you get after you sip the beer down, the back taste, the aftertaste. it's the whole embodiment of the beer, Mike. It's not just about beer tasting beer anymore. It's not about fruit either.
And you just sounded really creepy.
It's about hops.
You terrified Joe.
I'm a ghost guy. I'm supposed to be creepy.
Joe doesn't want to know that.
My second point.
Go ahead. Hurry up.
If you're not creeped out by my beer talk or by Jai and her creepy ghost stories, tune in next week live at 7:05 next Sunday. We'll have paranormal investigator. She's a podcast host. She's the owner of the Paranormal Buzz Radio, and she's a producer of the show. Shay Carroll will be joining us. I've been a guest on Shay's show. She's a wonderful lady. I really look forward. She's from Massachusetts. I really look forward to conversations with Shay about ghosts.
Do we not have a show tomorrow night?
Oh, and then our show tomorrow night, we're having a Thanksgiving special. We're returning to the Commonwealth. We're getting as close to Plymouth as we can. Not a lot of stuff in Plymouth, but there's we're going to go to Yarmouth on Cape Cod. We're going to go to where else are we going, Mike? We're going to somewhere else. I forgot where I'm sending C Beanie. It's somewhere near Plymouth, and then I'm going to go out to Nantucket. I got a really nice place in Nantucket. So tune in tomorrow night, live at 8:05.
You terrify me. I worry about you so much.
I heard a good poem about a guy from Nantucket once.
Yeah, I was gonna go into that, but I paused.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Sarah. Tomorrow it's 8:05 for Legit Paranormal. It's called Legit Paranormal Vacation Planners. Basically, what we do is we come up with locations that are really nice to visit, but they just happen to have either paranormal experiences or gruesome murders.
They have very murdery vibes.
It's fun vacation. It's fun vacation. Jai, is there anything you'd like to say before we wrap up?
I just wanted to say thank you for having me on here, and I hope to be a part of future endeavors with you all. And I love your vibe, and I'm just glad that you're doing these shows. Keep it up.
I appreciate that a lot. Someone said this. The Metaphysics Show. What is it called, buddy?
Dale Beluccio, member of Ocean State Paranormal, my group, and my beautiful and lovely and talented aunt is starting her own. It's a legit metaphysical world on Tuesday, December 6th. She's coming on at 8:05, I believe, and she'll present different topics from around the metaphysical world, including drumming, the rocks and stuff. I make it sound horrible. Mediums, all sorts of metaphysical topics. She does Reiki, so I'm sure she'll play that.
Maybe let Dale plug it next time, bud.
I'll let Dale plug it next time. I'm just like
the rocks and drums. It's gonna be great.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Love to drink beer.
Hold on. I've got. I don't know if you've ever had to deal with a fruit fly, like one fruit fly. I have one fruit fly for some reason around me, and it's one too many. All right, so for Jai McNeal, for Joey Paranormal, for Buddy Money, there it is me, Mike Leprey, King Michael. This was Legit Paranormal, brought to you by LegitPodcast.com. We'll see you tomorrow night for Legit Paranormal Vacation Planners. Enjoy your weekend. We had a great Sunday.